this is Jack. Well, we got a lot of questions for you. Okay. Yeah. That's open this meeting.
You want to open it first?
Yeah, I call the meeting to order at 3 o'clock.
This meeting is being recorded and broadcast via our local cable access channel, WCAT, Facebook, and
Hello,
YouTube.
Peter, how are you?
If anyone in the audience is recording, please let us
Nope. No?
know. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Jim. I'm well, thanks.
Okay.
Hello. Good afternoon.
The first item is to accept the minutes of October 15th. Did you get a chance to read them, Ray?
I did. I
Okay.
had, they looked fine to me.
Okay. You want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the October 15, 2024 meeting.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Review and discuss special town meeting articles, the November 21st meeting, anticipated vote.
Madam Chair, I do have an updated list of articles, a third draft with that additional article there that I could pass out to all the committee.
I have it at the bottom for you.
Yeah, that's a new one. Okay. So this one's old.
Yeah. Yeah, I put them at the bottom of the pile, so you can get rid of the other one that's there. Okay, so I want to go back to the article that we discussed last week for the Council on Aging. When we accepted this article, it was voted to take from free cash $5,340.75 for the generator repair. That's how it was presented to us. Okay, after speaking with Jim, the motion in front of us now will be to see if we will transfer from CS custodian $5,340.75 to cover the unexpected repair to the generator. Instead of free cash, it's coming from the salary line for the custodian, since they don't have one.
Okay, so that got split out into,
It's a new one, yeah, so that one is,
So
but we
it's
need to,
amended from free cash to,
yeah.
it's going to be from COA custodian. We're
Okay.
changing that, but we need to revote and whatever. So maybe that answers the questions that you had last week.
It does.
Okay.
So do we need to rescind last week's vote?
I would think
Just
yes,
So
so we need to rescind it.
I'll make a motion that we rescind the vote regarding the Council on Aging request in regards to the 534075 for generator repairs that was coupled with the 11,000 transferred from the to the bulkhead rear exterior replacement expense. I vote that we rescind. I move that we rescind that vote.
Okay, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
And I'll make a motion that we approve, recommend the article to transfer $5,340.75 from the Council on Aging custodian van driver salary line to cover the generator repair costs that were incurred to that amount.
did we do both of them? You know,
Well, that's a separate article, so I'm just
Oh,
going to
it's
do that
separate.
one.
Okay, as long as it's separate.
18.
Okay, all right, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
And then to complete that, since we have broken it out, I'll also move.
We already approved that part, if it was broken.
Okay, okay,
We don't have to redo that.
okay.
Oh, because that one hasn't changed.
That one hasn't changed.
Right.
Okay. So the next one in your pile, not, yeah, so you got the information, Jim gave you that thing, is from the highway department. He's asking to transfer 5,000 from his receipts reserve for appropriation, highway equipment fund to the surplus and auction account.
Be Article 20.
written in the article. Okay.
And it says this is the purpose, this is for the purpose of funding
Funding
future
future
available
available
surplus and auction equipment.
Okay. Yeah, I think Jeremy does a pretty good job of,
I do.
you know, reviewing that and looking for what's available, so he makes good purchases. So I'll make that motion that
He'll be
we-
purchasing a truck. Yeah, yeah, from Northfield.
Right, that's the second part, but I don't care.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll make a motion that we transfer $5,000 from the receipts reserved for appropriation highway equipment fund to the surplus and auction account for the highway department.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
The second one is, he doesn't need to do. That's why it's crossed off on your, this one.
Right,
Oh,
because now he's got the money to do
He's
it.
got the money set, but that's not, it's before, the first year was an article, but then he keeps putting money in it, so it's a regular
Right.
expense line, so he doesn't
Right.
have to.
Yep.
But that's what it's for, is to buy that truck.
Okay.
All right, now, last week, I know Jim has, I don't know if I have the copies. The sewer. Because this one, we didn't have the article, so this week we do.
So it's Article 14.
To see if the town will transfer from retained sewer retained earnings a sum of $28,000 to pay tie and bond to investigate and perform CCTV camera inspections of areas previously identified as surcharging per the Mass DEP, Department of Environmental Protection, administrative consent order with penalty amended on December 28th, 2023.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
We have no option, right? That's a mandatory
Yep.
thing?
Yeah, but this is
Yeah.
coming from them.
Right,
This is
it's just
retained,
blind transfer.
It's,
right,
They're-
well, it's their retained earnings is the same as our free cash, they just
Okay,
call it
okay, got
retained earnings.
Got it, okay.
so I'll move that we transfer from the sewer retained earnings $28,000 to cover the engineering services for a
Inspections,
regarding the DEP administrative consent order
for inspections.
for inspections of
Sewer
sewer
lines.
pipe.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Last week, we had the article, we keep last week's, from the selectmen, and we passed over, but we need to, I saw Karen.
Passed over the 5,000.
Right, that's the one we're gonna be talking about, the 5,000.
So it would be Article 9 on your new sheet.
So I went and saw Karen this morning, and she gave me bills totaling $4,910. So the internet went up $129 a month, so that's $1,000, $1,036. With the new phone system, the bill went up $283.64, so that comes to $3687.32. And then the other phone bill she just gave me for Masters Telephone is $93.57 a month times 12 for a total of $187.14. And the total is the $4,910.78. So in speaking with Jim, we decided to cover 3,000. That should get her through, in case she needs any more, either a line item transfer in May, June, or to the special in June.
This is instead of the 5,000.
Right, instead of 5,000, it's gonna be 3.
How do
Oh, what?
holler when you're caught
All
up
right.
before I make my motion.
Thank you. Okay, you can go.
I'll move that I'll move to recommend that we transfer from free cash $3,000 to the Shepherd purchase, service, and supplies to cover the additional costs related to internet service and phone system.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
And just to follow up, Madam Chair, if I may, on that particular account, last year, I think after we talked, there was a give back of about $2,000 from that line.
Correct.
So there was a give back of $2,000 that was unexpended in the Shepherd building, as well as we budgeted $500 more in that account this year. So we feel as though that this should more than
Wipe it
enough
out.
wipe everything out, but we'll keep monitoring it.
Okay. So now let's go to Article 6 on the ones that Jim gave us, because we didn't do anything on this. Okay, Jim?
So, thank you. So Article 6 is something new that I'd like to bring before this body today. And as you may be aware, the town at last year's annual town meeting reserved $25,000 in an article to perform a wage classification and compensation study. I'm pleased to report that I was successful in getting a state grant to cover those costs. So we will not have to be using that article moving forward. A state grant will be covering the cost of that, and that study is already currently underway. I am proposing one of the initiatives that the selectmen have wanted me to address is the antiquated town website, and how the website needs to be compliant with ADA regulations, with updating of important documents, and to ensure that we're providing transparency within the website. I am guesstimating that, depending on different models and different companies, the selectmen have indicated that they're not crazy about our current provider, Civic Plus, and they may be looking for a whole new, a whole nother platform. And there's other companies that provide websites, and there may be a platform within Civic Plus that we may have the oldest model out there, and that it needs to be upgraded. But all of that is going to come with a cost, and the cost of merging data, the cost of potentially having to buy the data that is being held, that has been put on there, will all be costly. The compliance issues of coming up with ADA accessibility, requirements to make sure that we're compliant, is costly. So that approach, is going to cost money to do that. This is purely an estimate, but I would like to see if we could transfer $20,000 to cover the entire project of this and get this up and running. We may not need the full 20. We may only need 15. We may only need 12. But this would complete the entire project.
So, Jim, we originally appropriated for that wage classification study $25,000?
Correct.
So where would the remaining $5,000, would it still be sitting there?
It would eventually revert back to free cash.
At the end of the year. If you didn't transfer the other 5, it would stay in
Okay.
the account.
And you feel comfortable that this will
I
cover it?
think that'd be more than enough to finish the project, yeah. I mean, we can do less, but I may be back here.
Yeah.
And it's there.
Right, and if it doesn't get used,
You get it
just
pushed back.
it just gets sent back to free cash.
Make a motion. You can just say Article 6,
Yeah, I'll move that we recommend Article 6 for, I move that we recommend Article 6 as written.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
and again, what's nice about this is we're repurposing money that, you know, that we didn't, it's not free cash. This is repurposing of money that,
It's already there.
you know, that we already reserved.
Very good.
So Article 7 is to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $4,000 to the workers' comp insurance line to cover any potential costs associated with the town's annual audit.
So this is new from the last time we met. Every year, there's a workman's compensation audit that is performed. The first year that I was here, there was no cost associated with it. It's all based on the number of employees that you have at the given time, at the payroll.
I did
They-
insurance for
yeah,
40
yeah,
years.
Yeah.
well, you know. And so as additional people come on, the more exposure you have, the more it's going to cost. Last year's audit was initially $4,000, but after reviewing the audit, in finding that we had people incorrectly classified, then we were able to reduce the total cost down to about $3,000, so that we had some individuals that were classified under the EMT that should have been classified under injured on duty. That takes that exposure away. So I'm estimating that, you know, we could have another, because we've had some new hires since the last year. We could have, you know,
Didn't the rates go up a lot this year?
the rates did go up. You know, we could have, you know, the audit could produce, you know, a cost associated with that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Do you have anything to
No,
say about it? Or, because, yeah, I'll move that we recommend Article 7 as just spoken to.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second it?
Oh, I'm second,
Oh.
I'll second, I'm sorry.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
All in
Thank you.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Article 8, to see if the town will vote to amend Article 4, Section 2, Capital Planning Committee of the Town of Warren General Bylaws by changing September 1st to December 1st of each year. Give to the committee on forms prepared by it information concerning all anticipated projects requiring town meeting action during the ensuing 5 years, or take any action. Since there's no
No
money involved, we wouldn't make a recommendation. All in favor, no recommendation?
Aye.
Yeah, aye.
Just off the record, Madam Chair, Ray, it was December 1st, right?
Yeah,
You were
I
recommending,
think
right?
so.
Yeah,
I think so,
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Number 9, to see if the town will vote to transfer free cash the sum of $3,000 to the Shepherd Purchase Service and Supplies line. We already
We
did
did
that.
this, we did
one.
9, yeah.
Okay, this is the one Peter's here for, because it finally clicked on me while you were here, Peter. To see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $19,000 to pay for a new town hall chime system, upgrades to the electrical wiring, and the disposal of the old system, or take any action relative thereto.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The selectmen have asked me to look into updating our chime system down at Town Hall. I have reached out to Veridian, who is a company that has much experience dealing with town hall chimes, church chimes, chimes in college campuses. And they actually gave us a quote about 6 months ago. The quote that they had provided to us at the time was somewhere around $12,000. I think it was $11,900. And you know, I contacted Jeff Lewis back from Veridian. That particular system that they quoted at the time, they no longer make. And so the next model that would meet the needs of what we would be looking for system is approximately $14,980 for the entire system to be installed. That does not include any anticipated wiring to the bell tower that may have rotted away in the current system. And this wiring would potentially need to be replaced by an electrician, as well as this does not include the disposal of the old system. The old system is a pretty extensive metal rack that would require some type of special dump or pickup to dispose of. This company will not take it. We would be
Oh, they
responsible
won't
for.
take it?
No, we will be responsible for getting rid of it. So I had to, the reason why I'm estimating that this project would cost $19,000 is if you took into effect the potential of wiring and the disposal costs of a huge metal rack. You know, you're probably, the system's 15,000. So with electrical wiring and the disposal, I'm estimating it at another 4,000 to make it a complete project at $19,000. This town hall chime system would regulate when the chimes would go on and off. Currently, the current system is sporadic at best. We've had complaints about the timing of the system and its operational, operation of the system. So the selectmen have asked that this be considered for an article.
Okay.
The only concern that I have, is I agree that it shouldn't be going off all night, but in anticipation of the safety complex, $19,000 is a lot of money to invest to put the chimes in that
I thought
building.
the chimes were with the church, I didn't even know they were ours.
And then they abandon the building.
Yeah, that was my thought too when I first looked at this, is that if, that would be the only reason to have access to the building, would be to maintain the chime system.
Correct.
I'm not opposed to the chime system, personally. I know there might be some discussion about that in a minute.
No, but Peter wouldn't be opposed to it if it didn't beep at night and do that.
Yeah.
But the thing is 19,000 to me is a lot of money for something that I think where the building at some point, I'm not sure how
Yeah.
long it's going to take, if the, one second, Peter, I'll get you. If the
Right.
safety complex is passed.
Goes forward, right,
I don't know how long that's going to take
right.
to build it. I mean, I haven't looked at the plans. Okay, Peter.
My comments are, nothing to do with the chimes, but the maintenance on the building. The front steps, the rails are all rusted. The fire escape, you can't go past a certain level on it. The side, the windows in the backside, down by the brook. I mean, there's so many other things that I think have more of a priority for the maintenance on the building that should be addressed. That's just standing back and looking at it. If you were gonna sell the building later on, some of those things might be a hindrance in holding it back, because they haven't been maintained. So I'm just, my opinion, I'm not gonna get involved with the chimes, but so far as spending the money, I think, I agree with Madeline, that if you're gonna abandon the building to build a new safety complex, how do you explain to the taxpayers that we just spent
Yeah,
X amount of dollars and we're gonna turn it over to somebody else that may not care the same way? So, that's my opinion on
Yeah, I have similar thoughts. You're putting $19,000 into, I know it's not the building, but the building's housing it, and that would be the only purpose,
Right.
is to, we have a huge building to support a $19,000 chime system, which is,
Well,
yeah, it's just
yeah, what do you think, Aaron? Any
I-
comments?
Totally.
So so looking at this article, I guess we can do it one of two ways. We can, I don't know if we can pass over it, bring it up later, depending on the, next annual town meeting with the vote of the safety complex. Or just not recommend if the selectmen are intent on putting this article on? What do you think they wanna do? They want the article on?
This article was before, the majority of the board last week, and they didn't raise any objection to it.
All right,
I highly suspect the board will push for it.
okay, so anyways, go ahead with our motion. I think we're in agreement.
So should we move to recommend it and then vote it down, or do we move to not recommend
Not
it?
recommend.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we do not recommend Article 10 as written for $19,000 for a new all chime system.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we got,
Assess right
you wanna come up a little closer, because there's just so much in this that,
Hopefully I can help, but I'm a little.
no, I know, well, what's his name? He was gonna try to come, but he's not gonna be here till 4,
Don?
Don. So I don't know, yeah. So, in here, this one here,
Article 12.
yeah, Article 12, but this is all the detail, we got the
Oh,
detail
yeah, it's
for
on
it.
that, okay.
It's in the new
Yeah, I
file,
was looking at the,
but that didn't have the detail.
got it, okay.
This has the detail of what they want. So, the article we're talking about is to transfer from the assistant assessor's salary, $30,000, the assessor's clerk salary, $4,787, and assessor's salary, $500, totaling $35,287 to the assessor's purchase service line. And then I think it should be a period there, Jim, and the next would be separate. The second part of this article is to transfer $3,250 from the assessor's salary to assessor's mapping. So I think we can take the last part first, the $3,250 from the assessors to the assessor's mapping. I know last year, this budget got cut, and it was in a crazy situation, we'll say, at the time. And I thought that it should have had more money, because I think the fee for the mapping, just for the fee itself, is $3,000 twice a year. So,
The mapping's very important, you have to have mapping.
correct.
Yeah.
So anyways, I think the second part, we can go ahead, and we may wanna break this out, Jim, after for the, two separate articles.
You wanna do two separate articles?
We'll
Okay.
see when we get to the other, I think it's very confusing,
Okay.
because we're talking purchase services, and this is a completely separate line, the
Mhm.
mapping,
All right.
even though it's in their budget, but it's not a supply or a service. So I think,
Okay.
okay. Anybody have any questions on it?
So we're gonna break this out into a
Yes.
separate,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think we need to do that, so let me just look at it here a minute. Okay, so I'll move that we recommend transferring $3,250 from assessor's salary to assessor's mapping for
Very-
to cover unanticipated FY '25 expenses.
So,
Okay, that will be Article 12.
Okay.
Okay?
And then-
and I don't think it should say additional expenses in assessor's expense, because this is strictly mapping.
Right,
So we need to take that in assessor's mapping line, so take expense out.
Yeah.
Expense and mapping, so. Any other discussion? I will second the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, this is where I got issues,
so Article, now this will be Article 13,
correct.
the new article.
All right, so if you look at you may wanna look at the breakdown on it first,
Yes?
yeah, the second page. And we'll take a minute to look at it, and, because I definitely have questions, and I'm assuming others were too. And whether Jack is going to be able to help us, did you go over this with
Well,
them?
I did, yeah, I did,
Okay,
and I spoke
that's
to
fine.
Deborah
Yep.
last night.
That's fine.
Let me know when you're gonna chime in.
Yep, I'm just letting them read it
Yeah.
because I've read it already.
Okay. Good.
You're all set? You guys wanna start first, or?
Who's taking these classes?
That's the thing, so why don't we go down the line, okay? We'll do it this way. So for Vadar, it's $999. So this is training,
No. The first two items are for the actual software package themselves. Okay, so there's the $999 and the $1,500, they're two different,
well, I know CI is, but Vadar is already being paid for through the selectmen's budget,
Correct.
so I
So
don't,
unless they're asking for a different modular of, that is not
This
already
is on top of what we're already paying.
including
Okay.
it, so I'm not.
I can't comment on that. All I know is the software package itself is valued at approximately $1,000. Now, whether it's an upgrade to the existing package,
Right,
or, I don't have that information,
Okay.
sorry.
All right.
okay,
Um,
We can get that type of.
yeah, we'll have to look at that.
all right, and the
So the training,
CAI Technologies is the tax map and software, which is a normal yearly expense for you.
okay,
It's, I don't think it's an upgrade, is it?
I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know.
because
So-
that's what, okay,
Okay, so there's two aspects of the training. One is the catalyst, which is, I guess, kind of the brains of the whole outfit, where we do all of the appraisals and the assessing criteria. And then there is the training on, okay, so we have that training for the Canton property tax at $9,000, and then there's a workshop seminar.
yeah, well, that, we're going one line at a
Okay.
time.
So to answer your previous question, I believe it's the three of us, which would be Don, Deborah, and myself.
Okay, now,
Okay.
for 40 hours,
I can't comment on the time frame on which, that must be what's recommended
Well,
by,
when Don, when I was talking to Don, he was surprised at the number of hours.
okay.
So,
Yeah, I mean, it's,
because to me, it's just a lot of money, and no offense to you, okay? No
Sure.
offense to you. I don't know how the training's going to be. Are they going to come here and train you, or is it going to be an online training? Or, what do you
What?
call that, Zoom training?
Off-site.
well, I asked that, and I believe we only have like a license for one or two computers or laptops to have this software, so the three of us are gonna be kinda
Right, but
with
Okay.
it.
that, we've always just had one laptop that has this
Okay.
information. Okay, I'm not interested in putting it on other computers.
Okay, well, it's a hands-on sort of thing, so we're gonna take time, each of us, I guess, entering the data and learning on this, so I can only
But
assume.
that would be done in the office on the computer that
yes,
have it, that's what I'm saying
Yep.
is that. So that's where I think 40 hours for 3 people is, that's a lot.
Well, if you divide it by three. I mean,
Right, it's $3,000, I understand, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
You just met
No, I-
me, I'm very
I like-
conservative,
I like
okay?
that fact, I do.
All right, now, second thing, and don't take this
I'm
personally,
not gonna hurt my feelings.
that you're only appointed till election.
Yes.
My opinion is that if you, you could say today, yep, I'm gonna run. Come May, something happens and you don't.
Yep.
To me, if this is 3,000 each, I think it's a big investment to make.
Amen.
If you decide to run, okay, either they can train you, or you could come back for the budget.
Yep.
Next year's budget and put that in.
Agreed, agreed.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
A lot of sense.
I-
Now,
I-
But we still need some
I just-
clarification.
I just had a quick question too. So this is something as, being on the board of assessors, you guys need to know this,
Quite honestly, yeah.
or
Somebody-
does
one
the
does,
assessor?
Right, but they don't have an assistant assessor, and I don't know when they're hiring an assistant assessor. That's what this is all about.
Okay, so can this training be done piecemeal? So two people could do it now.
Right.
An assessor, when they're hired, could do it. You could do it when you're elected, et cetera, et cetera.
Correct, well, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm asking, is
Yeah,
it, is
that's
that?
what I'm saying, is that
Okay.
we should only be, since they don't have an assistant assessor, and even if we do get one, doesn't mean that person's gonna have the training.
Right,
So I don't have a problem because they have years left on their service.
Right.
So what I'm saying is if this is for 3 people, I would recommend cutting it to 6,000.
I would recommend cutting down to one person. Why,
Well,
why?
the cost is the cost, it doesn't matter
Yes.
how many people. You
Right,
can- you can
exactly,
have a
but-
whole
but I'm
football
saying
team
is-
in there,
No,
and
that's
it's
what
the
I'm
same
asking.
cost.
So
Well,
is
that's
it
what I'm
modular?
saying, is
Is-
this 9,000 for one person, that's what
No,
I'm.
no, no, no.
That's
It's
what
for
I'm
all-
saying.
It's for as many people as you wanna have there, from my understanding.
So it's $9,000 just for,
If one person sits in the computer, it's $9,000.
Or if 10 people sit there.
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
that-
So you're paying by the hour?
Exactly.
And it's,
Paying by the hour.
40 hours,
I believe that's what.
That's
That's what she,
says.
that's what she
Yeah,
has on
that's-
here.
okay? I still got a question on it.
So I've got a follow-up question. If this were to be pushed out for 6 months, what's the impact to the assessor department?
Well, I would say we'd be lacking in our ability to do our jobs properly.
I have to agree with him.
Yeah, he-
Nobody in there,
she
nobody
was-
on the board right now knows how
Okay,
to do that.
This is for.
yeah,
you
no, I
said-
know someone needs to be trained on it. The
Yes,
question
yes.
is,
I don't know,
You
I
said
can't believe it's $9,000.
This is for, what did you say it was for?
It's just for-
Inspections.
Inspections and new properties and
correct, it's,
okay,
the valuations when they go out,
Okay.
if somebody does a, you know,
I think $9,000 is an awful lot of money.
well, me too, so we can find out more information.
Okay.
That's all, I just have questions, you know.
yeah, I'm not sure where the 40 hours came from, to be honest with you.
Right.
I assume that was recommended based on there's 2 software modules that we have to go through.
Mhm.
And again, it's not per person, it's per hour.
Okay,
And just another comment, and please, I'm kind of new to this. so
Yeah,
just
that's
slap
fine.
me upside the head.
no, that's fine,
Is, it doesn't necessarily make a difference if I decide to run again, which I'm planning on it, but people can walk out, and they have walked out in the middle of their terms.
right, I understand, but
So
what I'm saying, if it's 3,000 per person,
No.
that's what I,
That's
what
what
it
I
was.
That's
thought
what
this
I
was,
got.
3,000
Okay.
per person.
Then, yes, I would do 2.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
agree,
And
wholeheartedly, yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
So the 40 hours is in question, certainly.
Right, because
could
that
be-
seems like a lot, but
That is a
I
lot.
don't know anything about that type of software, so.
Either do I just know it's not very,
Yeah.
it's not very easy, to
Friendly.
understand. But again, these monies are coming from accounts of employees that we don't have here, so
Well, yeah,
it's.
well, I understand
Okay.
that, but if you think we're asking you a question, town meeting's gonna ask these
No.
questions too.
it's to
And
understand,
especially-
not, we're not, I know it might sound antagonistic, but it's just to understand.
Because the
I
thing
wanna
is,
save money for the people in this town.
no, but the
I'm all
thing
with
is,
you.
no, but
This
the
is-
thing is,
this
okay,
is important.
yes, it's just a transfer between,
Yeah.
but the question's going to be, well, how come now, after all these years that we need to do this? You know what I'm
I-
saying, that
I can't answer
it's, no, but this is what the town, somebody out there that, one of the people at town meeting is going to say, how come all of a sudden, why are we taking most of the assistant assessor's salary? Why don't we have one? And somebody's gonna need to ask whatever their question, so this way here,
Yep.
before we can make a recommendation or don't recommend, we need to understand, but that doesn't mean at town meeting, somebody's not gonna ask you.
So
That's all I'm saying.
No, I got you 100%. You've got 3 new assessors who are,
Yeah, no, I
Deborah's
know,
excellent, she's very well versed from what I can tell, and
Yeah.
Don and I probably less so, I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
it's
No,
to
I
help us
understand.
Help the town, and
Right.
that's really the intent.
okay, so then, from what I'm led to, was told,
Yep.
now, the Board of Assessors feel, before they go looking for an assistant assessor, since they're hard to come by and hard to get a highly trained one, that they feel they could get somebody that has, I don't wanna say, maybe knows somewhat about assessing, but doesn't have all the experience, that they would be training that person. This is why
I
this,
think that's what I get from what they wrote.
right, this is, right. So anyways, I just wanted to say that, which leads to the next one.
Yes, and I will confirm that. I've had conversations with Don and Deb, and their model is that they want to, because we had discussions about, when are we gonna ramp it up to get an assistant assessor? And their feeling is, since it's that person that they're gonna appoint, they wanna understand the job, in its entirety before they run out and recruit and try to find somebody. Right now, we are in the middle of doing recruitment and interviews for the part-time clerical position in the office, just to get somebody in there. We revised that job description a little bit, and we're in the process of filling that position. We have some interviews tomorrow too, but to answer your question and to piggyback off of the discussions that I had with the assessors, they feel as though it's important for them to understand all of the ins and outs of the office, so that they could take that knowledge and help what they feel as though is going to potentially be an assistant assessor trainee position, somebody who they're anticipating is not gonna have a lot of experience in this field.
Okay.
So who wants to take these classes? These are not classes that are required.
The board is going to be taking
All
This is-
three wanna take,
What, but this is this here.
yeah, but, I'm
Yeah,
down to this.
well, I'm not down there yet.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought you were down there.
No.
Okay.
So anyways, what they have been using now is a person to come in.
So there has been an outside consultant who has been coming in, who is an assessor in Massachusetts, in a not too far away community, that has been doing assessing for the last 10 to 15 years, and is a certified assessor that's been coming in and showing the board the ins and outs and what needs to be done and the timelines and getting things up and running and getting the commitments over to the collector's office. So all of that has been getting done by leading of the consultant.
So that's where you're at. So they want, instead of hiring the assistant assessor yet, so what they're doing is they want to continue to use this consultant. It's $100 an hour for 150 hours. So she's not an employee, so there's no benefits or anything involved. It's per hour, until they, I assume, get a assistant assessor.
I'm confused on this one, this consultant assessor the 15,000?
Yes.
Is
Yes.
a consultant working with you now?
Not with me.
Well, he hasn't been there that long.
Yeah.
Yes, she's been here.
Okay, so that's what she's saying.
So the consultant comes in, I think on Fridays and sometimes Saturdays, and works with Don and Deb, and I'm sure we'll be working with Jack at some point.
To get everything done, that needs to get done. You know, we're facing the tax rate recap, that's coming
Mhm.
pretty fast next month. So she's been in, making sure, the commitments are gone, abatements, people, motor vehicle, all that stuff is done. So the minimal needs to get done, because if we don't have the tax rate approved,
Mhm.
guess what? It ain't happening.
Yep.
And this is an estimate as to the number of hours,
It could be less.
it could be less.
Okay. Any other questions on that line? That amount.
Awful lot of hours.
Yeah, it is, that's what I'm saying, but there's still a question.
Mhm.
We will. Okay, revaluation. Now, they have revaluation appraisal, and I don't think those two go together for your budget. But I did, look at it. Last year for reval, they only spent $1,000. So they cut the budget to 2,500. So I guess we need to know the reason why they wanna increase it to
So much, yeah.
so much.
I can't comment on that.
Yeah, I figured it was, you weren't, so.
Just on the line above, it does look like it pays for workshops, seminars, and mass law for assessors. But if you do the support at $100 an hour times 150 hours, that's 15,000. So I don't know how,
So
where
we get the breakout, that would
Yeah.
probably help.
the breakout of that. So that can't be 150 hours then.
And 100, yeah. But getting the breakout, because this looks like this is classes
Right,
versus this
That's
is
what I'm
a
saying.
hiring a
Right.
consultant.
Right.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so there needs to be
Right.
some
Breakout.
addition breakout there.
I know, well, you're the one here, because I know Deb said she couldn't make it, so I mean, I know she's the
So
one
the
that.
5,500 is to hire an outside assessor basically to come in and do
The reval,
what we've just been
Or
trained
the
to do for
appraisal.
the 15,000, is that,
no, that's a separate line.
okay?
The revaluation appraisal is a separate line, and this is what, and she's got them together, and they're not.
Okay.
The appraisal service we have is $2,000. The reval is 2,500. She's saying that we need 5,500.
I'm gonna break that out.
I can run and get last year. Last year for reval, only 1,000 was spent. Let me get the appraisal. I'll be right back.
Oh, when do you have to go? 4?
between 4 and 4:15.
Okay.
It's 10.
I think there's more.
No.
I think this is the last article.
Yeah.
Under new business, I will ask that you guys reappoint me to the capital planning committee.
Okay.
It's supposed to be an annually appointed from finance.
Oh,
to
got it,
capital.
okay. Mhm.
All right. So for reval, like I said, the budget was 6,000, you only expended 1,000, that left 5,000. The appraisal service, you had 4,000, and you spent 2,700, and it left a balance of 13. So what you actually spent last year is 3,700. But I know, I understand what she's doing. So what she's doing is looking at what they got left in their budget.
Mhm.
And this is what we need to get us through the rest of the year. This is what this amount is,
5,500.
everything together. So, because see, this is, when we go to vote at this town meeting, it's gonna have to be broken down.
Sure.
Okay, saying we're going to put so much into mapping, so much into appraisal, so much into reval. Now, the next one says deeds. Now, I've never seen come through this office $1,000 and $1,050 for deeds. The only thing I ever see, and this they put assessor's mapping, is $50. They get charged $2. The bill comes, it's $2. Is it this registered map, or is it a deed? I don't know, but I've never seen
Mhm.
in all the years that I've worked here. that we got deeds and had to pay $1,050. The only thing I've ever seen all the years I was here, it's just $2. $2 every time we got one. Okay, so the stamped envelopes, that's fine, I don't have a problem with it, that's expensive. The postage is, what's, almost 70
Yeah, I know, it's
cents.
ridiculous.
I don't have a question on that. Memberships, one at 75 and then the MLS at 348, or MLS, is that separate? I'm not sure, because she's got one at 75 and then MLS at 348 and then
And
348 is the
348
total.
I'm not exactly sure, but she did mention this last night in our phone conversation. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this should have been removed. But I
Okay,
I
well, let us
check
know.
with her. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure this should have been removed.
All right.
Which should have been removed, the MAAO?
No, the
The,
MLS.
the memberships.
Oh, the whole thing,
The
okay.
48, yeah.
Okay. And then office supplies, I don't have a question, a problem with it, because everything's so expensive just for,
Ridiculous.
well, it's ridiculous
No,
just
I mean, everything's so expensive, I get it.
to like, even for this printer that I have, or the accountant's office have, I think it's like $225 for a toner.
I know, it's
And you,
expensive.
and you have to have 2 or whatever year.
One bag of groceries is $100.
And then she's got ads for opening, $75 times 4, which is reasonable, that's when they advertise
Mhm.
for hire.
Mhm.
So.
So just to clarify, are these the totals that are needed for the year? But
Correct.
there's already some monies
They've
allocated?
expended,
Additional money.
okay, so in their expense account, they have $387.58 left,
Okay,
because they've expended $14,526.
okay.
So what she was doing was saying to cover all the expenses till the end of the year. That's what,
That's what transfer she wants to make out of.
correct, that's what this is all about, to get her through. I can get a printout from Jackie of what they've expended already, if you want to see that, because there's just, I
I
don't
think the
think,
more detail we have, the better.
right,
Yeah.
so. I don't think she, let me see if she's there. Well, I can get a print, the expense. Because mapping, they only have $750 left, but I think that $750 is a couple times a year or something. The appraisal, they still have money, and they still have reval, but they need the extra money, so. That's, I just, you know,
I think the biggest question is about the training.
right, that's the biggest one that I have. And then this deeds, I have a question, because like I said, I've never seen that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that even when I was working this spring, I don't ever remember seeing anything come for that. I've seen the $2, whatever that is for, but I've never seen
Yeah.
that amount. So that's where I have questions. And then the Vadar is at an upgrade, so
And then this other page.
we already went over that one. That's the third, that's the other one, for tax maintenance and registered notes.
Okay, got it.
That's why it was broken down
Got
into
it.
two.
The
Oh,
second,
32, right. Okay.
yep.
Okay. So anyways, I guess,
Yeah, we need to provide some
Yeah,
information.
so I think we'll have to have a meeting next week, just quick, it'll just be for this,
Yep.
unless something comes up. Because that's what and I know I asked her about Vadar, and I actually don't remember what she told me, but I know I asked her. If it's for more training, that's what I thought she told me, but I'm not really sure. Because I know when I talked to Jim, he said that the town got so many hours of training on Vadar, like the accountant got X amount, the treasurer, whatever. So that might be what it was, because that's what my mind's telling me, that it's possibly it was for training. So, we will meet again next Tuesday. at 3 o'clock. If you can come, or Deb can come, because I know she had told me she had a commitment today.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll probably watch this later on.
Yeah.
And as far as I know,
Yeah.
Tuesday's fine with me.
Okay, then that way there, if she can't make it, at least you'll have
Yep, and I'll have
the answers to the questions, and like I said, I just want to make sure, because like I said, I thought that 9,000 seemed like a lot. That's why I was thinking it was for 3 people, and if it was for 3, well then let's see if we can cut back 1, but if you're saying you're all together, 40 hours just seems like it's a lot, but I don't know anything about your training, so I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't know where the 40 came from, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, but I know it's per hour
Yep.
charge.
Yeah, well, it always is,
Yeah.
hey, we
So
get
it's
that.
not per
Yeah.
person.
And then we need to break out of what is this, what's classes versus this.
Yeah. How much, she said $100 an hour at 150 hours, that's the 15, but she's got workshop seminars, so is the support less than
Yeah, no,
150?
I understand, yeah.
So, okay,
All right,
well, thank you for coming.
no, I appreciate you tolerating me and,
Oh, no, that's
Sure, a
fine,
little
you're
better
new,
prepared.
hey, listen,
I
I've been,
walked into a tough spot.
yes,
We appreciate you tolerating us.
no, and I certainly understand, we wanna.
right, hey,
be
hey,
frugal here.
listen, I came in when I was hired as a town accountant back in 2002. All right, cash hadn't been reconciled in 6 months, receivables hadn't been done in 4 months, whatever. It's June 17th I start working, and the end of the year is June 30th. So guess what?
Yep.
Here we go. So I understand. So all you do is the best that you can.
Yep, that's all you can ask.
Yep.
All right, Tuesday at 3 p.m.
Yes.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks, Jack.
thanks. Good to meet, nice to meet you
it's a
too.
pleasure, thank you.
Okay. Is there any new business?
Yes.
I do
Or
have
do
an
you have
item.
questions? Do you want to still talk about it? That's
No,
fine.
no, Madam Chair, I would request that the capital planning representative from Finance Committee is an annual appointment. So I would be willing to serve on another
That
year
is
on capital
good.
planning.
And it's a year already.
So
It's been a
I-
year already.
So I make a motion to reappoint Ray to capital planning.
I will second that motion.
Okay.
As, yeah,
You're gonna put that on the agenda for next week, because that's not on,
right.
is it?
Can we do it as new
Why can't
business,
do
or
it
do
under
we have
new
to?
business?
It's actually a vote, so
Okay,
a vote should be
so
listed.
if we can include that for next week then?
Yeah, okay, so this is gonna be the 22nd, 3 o'clock. And, oh, I'm gonna give this to you after the fact, how's that?
Yes.
You're not. I'm not gonna write any more on it. Discussion and possible vote to appoint Ray as FinCom representative to capital planning. Right, that's what it is?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, now new business.
Could you do me a favor? Could you spell your last name for me?
Yeah, it's Krazik, Krawczky.
Thank you.
Okay, and any other new business? No? Okay, then I guess we need our next meeting on the agenda, said next meeting if needed. Our next meeting will be October 29th,
Yep.
2024 at 3 p.m. And I will make a motion to adjourn at 3:59.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, everybody.
Yep.
Thank you, Jim.
Yep, thank you.